It's Friday, February 10th. What a treat joining us here on Radio Row. It's Ekeler's Edge, baby. It's Austin Ekeler.
This is like the Super Bowl of Ekeler's Edge right
here.
Yeah,
this is the real Super Bowl.
This is the real Super Bowl.
Everybody mostly came for this, and then there's like a little game.
Right, you can't even see behind the cameras. Thousands of keep it down. Thousands of people that I can't even imagine. You guys can't even imagine.
Austin will sign all of your autographs
right
after this, but we have to get through the show. The throngs of fans here.
All right, let's get into it.
What's going on, buddy? It's been a minute.
Man, it's been a minute, unfortunately, it's been a minute, If we would have kept winning games, maybe we could have kept going, But ended short for us, as you know, in a dramatic fashion.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, probably the most dramatic fashion that it can possibly end. Hopefully never have to relive that moment ever again. Hopefully that never comes down to that. But, yeah, been good, moved on from it, and off to getting better for next year.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, do we even want to talk about? Do we even want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about that? Actually, let's do the question that you don't want to answer, because I've been asking everybody that we talked to on Radio Row, and it definitely makes sense.
You've been here a few days.
I've been here for so long. I'm so sick of hearing the sound of my own voice.
All right, so I'll take over. So I've been doing a bunch of, I don't know, I did like 12 or 13 interviews yesterday, and you get tired of hearing a few questions. Matt asked me before the show, like, do you have a question? And I was like, I have a few. And then they started coming to me. It's like, okay, now I got my top 10. Number one.
Give us your top 5.
Top 5. Number 1 is definitely the Jags game, because I'm like over it.
Yeah.
When it's like people want to hear about it, I'm like, okay. Number 2 is the Super Bowl prediction, because it's like I have guys that I'm rooting for on both sides. And so like I got some buddies. So I'm like, I'm just rooting for those guys to play well.
You're like Mrs. Kelsey. You can't make. We talked to her the other day. She's like, really? She couldn't make a game pick, of course, because there's 2 sons.
She doing the whole tour. Like she's been like making the rounds. I heard
she was a great interview. Gave us her. You can find the video. I'll probably post it on Twitter if it's not already up there. She gave us her secret ingredient to her cookies recipe.
Wow.
She told us which son was better at cleaning their room growing up. Who was better like helping out in the kitchen. Who took care of
the full breakdown.
Yeah. Oh. 100%.
Well, good for her. Good for her. Living up the moment. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Having both your sons playing against each other in the Super Bowl. Like, that's like a dream come true. Another question. Any questions? This is like 5 questions in one. Any questions about Justin Herbert? I'm like, I know he's a stud, but they're like, hey, what does he got to do to grow? Like, how is it playing with him? All this stuff is like, dude's a G, man. He's a quarterback. Like, he's my teammate. We go out there. We ball out together. But I feel like I get that question every single time, and it's one of those that just like, okay, and it's like,
all right, let me pull out the script.
Yeah, here we go. All right, here we
rocks.
go. Yeah, let me read it over. And so we'll go with those for now.
Okay, that's a pretty good top 3. We won't discuss any of those. And it is funny, like talking about the Jags game for you. That was so long ago. You've moved on emotionally, I'm sure.
Exactly. And then people are like, how do you get over that? And I'm just like, well, I'm
am.
over it.
Yeah.
Like this is football. I've dealt with loss and wins, for my entire life. Some are more dramatic than others. And so that was definitely a dramatic one. But guess what? You move on, because you got to go. You got to go with what's next.
You know what helps you move on? Not talking about it a bunch, not just revisiting it over and over and over again. So we're definitely not going to do that here. But I mean, we do want to check in with you, man. Like you said, it's been a few weeks. What's going on with you? Any news to break? Anything happening in your world?
So I mean, really, this is my transformation from out of season, but there's this like little stretch where we have playoffs where it's still relevant, so do a lot of activations and stuff. And so when this week ends is really when my content and stuff and my off-season programming really starts up. So I'm excited. I got another a content series I'm going to be starting. I was telling you a little bit about it.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So basically what I'm going to be doing is following my journey back into getting into shape. And how I'm going to make it interesting is I'm going to do a combine testing for myself, the Ekeler version. There's no 225 reps. It's 315 reps on the bar, 405 bench squat, squat max, and then also the 40 and stuff like that. And so be able to measure that, follow my training regimen. I'll post 1 video a week just talking about what I do and things like that to get myself back into shape, and then do a testing, before fall camp. So I'm excited for that journey. Some other journey, obviously the app's going on. Building a weight room for Long Beach Poly High School right now with the foundation. And so really, this is when I get busy. Like I like to say, like when season starts, I get to finally kind of relax and just focus on football. And then when season stops, it's like, okay, back to building mode, right? Building up all the platforms.
Yeah, I told you earlier, we're like cut from the same cloth, where people was like, oh, season's over. It must be real relaxing. Like, now this is when like I look at the fact I've got like 70 receivers to start charting, like game film to break down.
So you have a lot to catch up on then. Or what?
Yeah, being here, man, doing all this talking, like, now lock me back in my film room and keep the voice clean for a few weeks. That's really what I'm excited about. But yeah, a lot of big things going on for you. I'm excited about this Ekeler combine thing, essentially, especially the 40, because I'm always curious, like, where guys are at different points in their career. Were you invited to go to the combine?
I didn't go to the combine. I did a pro day though, and I ran a 4.43 at the pro day. So
4.43. So what you think you're gonna?
I'm hoping I can stay in the 4.4s. Right now, I probably get a 4.5 just based off of my downward trajectory of my peak performance of my muscle structure during the season. So that's what the offseason's for, to build that back up, to get back to peak, and then you try to maintain as much as you can. But there is, I would say, a decline, which is imaginable. You're getting hit on every weekend, so your body doesn't really have time to repair and heal. So we'll see.
We're all in decline, really.
4.4. Very, very true. We were talking about some dark humor.
we are all in a steady decline.
Right. The peak days are in the past for us. But hey, we're mentally we're still flourishing. So
mentally sharper than ever. Can I tell you something new in my life?
Yeah. What's going on, man?
This is for the show. This is for the pod. Too.
Yeah.
I haven't officially broken this on the podcast yet.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Wait a minute. Let's go. You have joined the brotherhood.
Well,
have joined the brotherhood of being the bald.
Actually,
the bald brotherhood.
Just keep it off now at this point.
You shaved it.
Dude, well, after you called yourself Bald Jesus, I was like, let me get in on the cult.
The first loyal follower.
Yeah. Where
oh God.
Where do we mount our church?
Let's go. Well done.
Oh,
that was
dude,
a good one. That was a comedian over here now. He's on one right now.
It was time.
Oh, man.
A lot of different reasons, but
so wait, yeah. So what was the real motive?
Well, a couple motives. Number one, it's thinning back. Back here was where it was really going.
Is this the first time you've ever committed it and shaved it all off?
Oh yeah. No, that's not true. Actually, I used to have really long hair in high school. And then one day in college, I was like, just buzz it. But, like, going all the way to the studs, yeah.
I can see you with long hair. Long hair, the beard, like, come down to here,
No, I mean, this was, like, down.
Oh, like.
Yeah, but I didn't have the beard
ponytail in the back.
I was in high school. I didn't have the.
Yeah, I could see you with the top, and it's a pony, like, kind of like Kittle has.
Like Kittle?
Yeah, and it's like, and then you shave the sides.
I pitched that to my wife, and
she wouldn't have that one.
No, I said, what if I had hair like George Kittle? And she's like, what if you were single?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess not.
Right, but that's a no-go then.
But yeah, I did shave it, and I feel good about it.
Yeah, awesome, man.
It's honestly the most freeing thing I've ever done.
Yeah. So is your head cold now?
Oh yeah, I'm putting the hat.
Yeah, the hat back. Yeah, that's the main thing is the head. I'm used to it at this point, but yeah, the head gets cold for sure.
So yeah, that's my breaking news.
Nice,
you're talk about being in decline. I'm definitely in decline. I'm losing my hair, and meanwhile you're back to running a 40.
Look, you decline in some things, you get raised in others, right? And the knowledge, the life experience, right? You can always build your body back up to some point. When you're not getting hit, it always helps.
Well, when we talk about fitness and motivation and stuff like that, it's a pretty big motivator to like stay in good shape and like try to get ripped when you're bald. For me, because it's like, well, the hair was a pretty good asset, so I got to make up. Like you said, decline in some ways, get stronger in other ways. So I'm looking to keep bulking up more in the off season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, it's always Beachbody season. I'm actually starting a 10-minute ab group as well on Twitch.
Oh yeah, where can we watch the combine stuff?
So I mean, I'll be posting it everywhere. I'll post small clips here and there, but YouTube is where the bigger video will be, probably like 5 to 6 minutes long, and then we'll put the small clips up on Instagram, Twitter, things like that. So
cool.
Well, it'll be all over the place. Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to tune in for one of these 10-minute ab things in the
definitely got to tune in. Tune in for any of it, man. There's going to be a lot of content coming, so I'm excited. Right, I'm keeping the Ekeler's edge. Right, it's fading now. Right, season's over. Mm-hmm. Boom, let's get something else going. Right, got to pick it up. What's the content change for you, like during the off season?
So, like I said, in off season, I mostly I'm still going to be doing the podcast.
Yeah.
It's just like more like 2 times a week as opposed to
the fantasy
5 days a week. Yahoo Fantasy Football Forecast, which Ekeler's Edge.
Yahoo Fantasy Football Forecast.
It's a mouthful.
Yahoo, come on. We got to do something about this. Can we please get a shorter name? Shorter name. Come on. Anyway, okay, I had to put it out there. Anyway.
You're speaking my language. Bro.
All right, hey, I'll say it for you. All right.
Well, Brett and I will discuss it this offseason. Brett and I will be in on name discussion.
Oh, Brett's coming in.
Brett's coming in.
Stop killing me, guys.
Okay.
All Brett just saw was like a mountain of work that's about like.
Like we
Nobody
said,
likes the names of any of our pods.
a mountain of legal work and meeting with lawyers and stuff like that. That's what Brett just saw flash before his eyes.
All right.
When you said all that.
We'll keep the name.
But yeah, no. Mostly what I'm doing in the off season, I spent a lot of time, like I said, doing the charting for reception perception and going back and watching the game film for all these receivers and prospects too. I think that's what people love the most probably this time of year is to, folks are like banging down my door in like December, like, what's the Jackson Smith and Jigba reception perception? I'm like,
nice.
Let me get to the offseason.
They got to know. They want to know which rookies to draft, right?
Yeah.
I think it's something that I've come to have an interest in as well. It's kind of just seeing some of these rookies that are coming out. Maybe just reach out my hand and see if they want to have some type of sit down conversation, whether it's on a podcast, whether it's just one-on-one outside of football as well too. Just to kind of help these guys make that transition and just kind of give them some insight, just especially from my journey and how far it's come and where I'm at now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing these rookies,
especially rookie wideouts. It's been a pretty big trend the last 2 years that these guys don't start super fast, but they can be like legit fantasy league winners in the second half of the year when they, like we talked about, Justin Fields, the interview is going to be on the pod, but we talked to him before this, like once they get the terminology down, once they get the language down of the offense and, they transition from college route concepts to more pro route concepts. These guys like Christian Watson, good example with the Packers this year, pretty much did nothing in the first half of the year, but once he kind of got that timing and rhythm and maybe trust with Rodgers, he was putting up big numbers to end the year.
It takes a while. Like, it's not just you come in and then you start playing. And, like, there's guys that have been playing for 6 years in front of you, 5 years in front of you, 2 years in front of you, right? Just a year in front of you makes such a big difference from the mental aspect. You might be more physically gifted to someone, and that might give you opportunities. But for you to actually catch up and be on the same page as far as how an offense is run in the NFL, it takes time. And it's not only time, but it takes experience, too, that you can't get unless you're actually playing the sport. So you can study the playbook as much as you want outside in the offseason, but unless you're getting on the field with your quarterback, right? Like Justin said, he was going to be getting on, just getting the mesh with some of his younger guys. You got to go out there and actually be running the routes together. You got to be in the off season, being together. That's going to help you. That's going to help you make those leaps and bounds as a rookie getting into your program. So that's stuff like that I want to talk to them about. Like, hey, if you can get in the group chats, find out where the team's at and make sure you're around that because it's just going to help you get acclimated a lot faster.
And different coaches have different expectations, too, for you. I remember this great story about Sean Payton, who's in your division now, that, he is so specific about receiver depth, with their routes and stuff, that he would go out to, if it needed to be an 8-yard route, he'd go out to the 8-yard line and throw his hat down and be like, do not go an inch past, inch past this. And, guys don't know that until they experience it on the practice field and the more and more. And, then it's just body reps.
Well, there's also emotion that goes into that, too, right? When your head coach is out there, right? Your head coach, not even your receiver coach is out there seeing, you can't go past this. That has a lot of weight that holds with it on your emotions. This is my job. My longevity of my job depends on me getting to my right depth, right? The seriousness of the details, So.
And when you're younger too, I don't do this as much anymore, but I know when I was younger, I was like, somebody told me not to do something. Now I got to focus on not doing it. I got to focus on not doing it. And then you end up doing it. It's like when you're a kid and your mom's like, don't touch that hot stove.
Right.
And then
curious, and you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen if I do. And then for sure.
You touch and you find out.
You get burnt. You definitely get burnt. It's part of the growing process. You go through growing pains, as I call it, right?
So I'm excited to check out these rookies. But talking about offensive transitions. New offensive coordinator for the Chargers, Kellen Moore, coming over from the Dallas Cowboys. I know there's a lot of people excited about it. How did you feel when you heard the news about Lombardi and then the move to Kellen Moore?
Yeah, I've actually had this a couple times, and it's I've just thought about it. It's like we were trending up with Joe. The past 2 years, right, barely missed the playoffs, right, and then we finally get into the playoffs with him as our offensive coordinator. And to me, I'm like, oh, yeah, like we're trending in the right direction. That's what you want, right? But for, some reasons, organizations make moves, whether it's for chemistry, maybe they want to try something new. And so, yeah, we get Kellen Moore, right, who's kind of had the same thing, I feel like, with Dallas, right, where he's in the top categories as far as statistics for his offense and doing this and that and this. And it's like, well, they got rid of him too. So it's like, maybe we're doing this new shuffle, right, to see if a new chemistry will work out for us. Obviously, we have a lot of playmakers on offense. And so it's like, okay, let's see if we can put, a new style of coaching with our playmakers together to make some type of chemistry, which is what it takes. It takes the meshing of our coordinator, the play calling, and then all of our talent to go out there and actually get it done and get it executed. And so, yeah, I had no bad things to say about Joe. Scored 40 touchdowns underneath the guy. So,
right, yeah.
How could I, like this man, I was efficient, I feel like, in his offense, and I enjoyed that. We made some pretty good runs. We were in the middle of the pack. We were trying to separate, right? But I feel like there's other factors that really played into that, considering we lost our top 3 receivers in the first, whatever weeks, 2-3 weeks.
O-line injuries.
Yeah, defensive injury. And so the fact that we got to where we were, I was like, yeah, like we got a crew here. We're finding ways to get it done. And to me, it's like, what do you want from a coach? You want a coach that gives you a chance to get to the playoffs, right? And then when you get in the playoffs, okay, now we can address that from there. And so, we got Kellen. Obviously they made the playoffs, so boom, he's got that resume. So, all right, that's the guy who's going to be able to give us a chance, and now hopefully we can go beyond that.
Yeah, I think you said at different points, like throughout the show this year, that hey, if like certain expectations aren't met, like changes will be made, and stuff like that. So I think obviously some in the organization felt that there was meat left on the bone, and they hope Kellen's the guy who can come. Yeah, pull the meat off the rib.
It's crazy because if you're average or just good, your job is up for jeopardy. The only way your job is not if you're great. Like you're great, then okay, you're established, right? Yeah. They're gonna pay you. They're gonna lock you into a contract. You're good. You're probably still gonna be on vet minimum. I got a lot of buddies that are good at playing football, and it's like they get a 1-year deal, right? Because they're like, we can't really fully commit on you, but we like having you around. And so it's like that weird spot where it's like you're above average, but not like lock you into a full contract type player. And the same thing with coaches. Like you might be good, but it's like we have a position right now where we have so much talent on the team. It's like we need something.
Just be good.
We need something to push us over the edge. So it might not even been all Joe's fault, right? Yeah. It's the whole team that puts together. But they're like, all right, well, let's try something else. Let's try something new. And he might have got the fault because of that. And so obviously I'm not in on those conversations, but I loved having Joe there. And then hopefully it's a good mesh with Kellen.
Yeah, as we talked about, like with Justin Herbert. Not that you want to sit here and be like, he's great. He's awesome.
Hang on a second. I got it in my pocket.
Yeah. Unbelievable arm talent. Can make plays on the move. All that. Cannon for a right arm.
Very smart, dedicated. He's been learning. He's getting experience. Yeah.
Yeah. He took the shoulder surgery. I didn't even.
Damn. On his off shoulder.
Yeah.
On his left one.
Yeah. But still, I mean, I didn't. It's just like you never know what's going on.
Yeah.
But my point in saying that is like, when you have a guy like that, it's like being good isn't good enough. You got to be great, and there's a lot that goes into it. And
there is. It takes a village, right? It's not just one person's fault. Like even if I go back to the Jags game, like
you don't have to go back.
I know, but it's a good example. It's the most recent. Like we're up 27-0 at one point in the game. There's not one side of the ball that just lose you that big of a lead, right? It's going to be all of us. Like offense apparently didn't do anything. We only scored 3 points in the second half. Defense was giving up big plays in the second half, right? Special teams, I think we missed a field goal, and then so it's like all of us had our hand in that. Maybe better plays could have been called. We probably could have played better in that second half. We definitely could have, and so it's like the village helped us build it up, but also we tore it down together as well. Yeah. It's really hard to pinpoint and be like, this is the problem, get them out of here, type of thing, because it's so many factors. And so, some people, and just in life in general, have to they get moved out, and other people get moved in for them. And it's like, are you the sacrificial lamb? Maybe you were, So
I feel like people often don't want to accept that like both things can be true.
Yeah.
But it's so true in life. It's so true in football. Yeah. This is definitely one of those things in football. It's like it's a life lesson,
Yeah.
It's not always just one thing that's led you to this point, whether that point is good or bad. It can be a variety of different things.
And just going back, this is so like integrated into life and what we do. There's sometimes where it's like we don't know. Well, a lot of times we don't know the full picture. There's changes that are made for reasons maybe beyond the knowing of us, right? Based on the information that we know. Maybe there are motives that have changed. And so regardless, there's going to be change. And change brings new opportunities. Like all my coaches that I have right now have been there because the coaches before them were fired, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like we've been able to build that because there was change, right? And so now we're making another change. We'll see how it plays out. And so change is not a bad thing. Change is actually really good. It's how you adapt. It's how you learn about yourself. And so, like I said, I wish the best for Joe. I know he'll be picked up somewhere else, and he'll be a part of football for forever. Just ingrained in his blood. But yeah, that's the fluid movement of the NFL, right? The mix up, right? And the change. And so Kellen coming in, let's hope we can make it 25 touchdowns next year.
Shoot, let's hope that's in the script, pal.
Yeah, I know. We get him next week, after the Super Bowl, so I'll let you know.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Can you send me an advanced copy of the script?
No, because then I'll get the injury script. No, I just play. There's no script, people. There's no script. Get this out of your mind.
Was that not the most amazing the conspiracy theory ever,
though?
That
is great. Well, it's just because, man, the NFL is so unpredictable.
Yeah.
So unpredictable. And so, look at our game. Our game's like the perfect example of football.
Yeah.
Of how crazy it is, exciting it is, how things can drastically change like that. It's like ups and downs and emotions and woos and no's and all of it at one time. And you're like, so that's why people are glued to it. People are betting on it. People are invested in it. We got fans flying in from everywhere, right? All the TVs, and so
all this going on
all this, right, is all justified because of this amazing sport and the depth to it. And so, man, there's no script. It's just the thing that makes it as exciting as it is because all of us care so much about it, and we all go so hard that when it's like what we thought was supposed to happen doesn't happen, we're like, there's got to be a reason behind it, And so now the conspiracies stick, and it's kind of funny because it's like, maybe.
Yeah. And I mean, it is such a crazy, unpredictable sport, but that's why we love it. And sometimes you just people don't want to accept that life is just unpredictable sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes no one likes to lose either.
Yeah.
So if their team loses, nah.
There had to be.
Nah.
There had to be.
It was the refs. It was this guy.
Yeah.
It was they got to define it by putting it on somebody.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with fantasy, where it's like you lost me my game because you didn't score 30 points. And it's like we need something to blame, right?
100%.
It's human nature.
All right, Austin. That was great talk on human nature.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could really existential stuff from us today. Let's throw it to our interviews here that we did on Radio Row. We got some absolute heaters for you guys to check out. All right, excited to be joined by one of my favorites, Stefon Diggs. Stefon, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, bro? Thanks for having me on. I know it's early. Good morning, man.
You know how it is. Radio Row, you go all day, man.
Mm-hmm. Ready to go.
It's like day 3, like day 6 for Matt. They all run together.
I'm very much sick of the sound of my own voice. I hope other people are not, though. Hey, we've been asking everybody that comes on. We know you did a ton of interviews yesterday, today. What's the one question that you've been getting that you're sick of being asked?
I ain't sick yet, so I don't know.
Okay.
It just started, so it's fresh. I'll let you know though real soon. Maybe you'll ask it.
That's what I'm trying to avoid, man.
I'm just messing. It's all good.
Well, I'll give you one of mine that sticks out. The Super Bowl prediction.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what? Like, come on.
We're not supposed to care.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
exactly.
I get it.
So wait, so you have one then?
Yeah, I think the Kansas City Chiefs probably gonna win.
Chiefs are? See, I've been leaning towards the Eagles.
It makes sense.
All right.
You played the Eagles?
No, we didn't play them.
Oh.
We played Chiefs twice though, and
I know.
bro. They're so sticky, man. They just stick around, bro. So, but anyway.
What a mess. Well, you're here on behalf of Downey.
Yeah.
Tell us what you got going on with them.
I'm here on behalf of Downey Unstoppables. They picked me because I try to dress fresh and clean. You know what I'm saying? They keep you fresh and clean. They smell amazing. If you don't believe me, you can sniff it yourself.
Oh, wow.
We got samples.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sheesh.
I mean, it smells incredible.
There we go. That's some of the product right now.
There we go.
It's actually, it keeps me smelling halfway decent.
There you go.
Halfway decent, best that we can hope for, right?
There we go.
You mentioned Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
They're in the Super Bowl. AFC, man, tough run this postseason. You guys had a strong performance against Miami Dolphins, faltered against the Cincinnati Bengals. Where are we feeling about the Bills as the season ends here?
It's a little rough right now, especially considering everything that happened throughout this year. We battled a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of adversity. Every year is a different year, as you know. So it's definitely in that spot of, we had everything we wanted in front of us and came a little short. So you're definitely going to be frustrated and a little bit, feeling the way about it. But until then, got to get back to the drawing board, kind of figure it out, figure out what's what, figure out what makes sense.
Let me ask you this, because I get this question. It's how do you, I guess, analyze your season as a successful season? Are you like, hey, it's Super Bowl or bust, or is it like how do you analyze the success of your season?
I mean, I feel like it also depends on what kind of team you have. You know, we've had a group that's kind of been together for a while. You know, of course, like at this point, we don't want nothing but a Super Bowl ring. So It's like, of course, it's like necessarily not Super Bowl or bust, but that's all you're aiming for. That's all anybody's aiming for. You know, different teams are in different circumstances. Like, say for instance, you are 8-8 or 500 team. It's like, yeah, you just want to do better than you did last year. The closer you get, the more you feel obligated to win a Super Bowl. So it's like we've been close for 3 years in a row. So it's like this, all right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, what we're doing, what's going on here? We got to figure out what's what or figure out why we're not getting over the hump.
For sure.
And it's tough. Only one team wins it every year.
Yeah. So if it's not one of them, it's what? 31 other teams. Like, you ain't doing right. Something ain't right over there. So.
Now, yeah, it's definitely different teams are in different spots. You mentioned, obviously, that you've been close right there. You know, we talked to you, or I talked to you before the season, and then we talked to Josh in the middle of the year. I feel like your guys' connection from an on-field standpoint really took another jump this year. Like, you know, we see quarterback and wide receiver connections that have been together for a long time. Like, I always come back to Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Like, those guys had a mind meld by the time right before they split up. Did you and Josh kind of get on that page this year where, listen, he knows what you're doing, you know what he's doing, and it just goes out there and you're in sync?
Yeah, I mean, at times, yes. You know, throughout this year, it was a crazy year, especially for us. I feel like it was a little weird dynamic because the first 9 games we had like a real like formula and recipe on how we were winning, and then that last iteration on towards the back end, we kind of were just kind of figuring out ways to win, which wasn't bad for us, but kind of got us away from what we were consistently doing. You know, so for me, I feel like at times, yeah, and then other times we kind of got away from it. So we carried that same team in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of like playing left-handed or figuring out ways to win. It's not necessarily a bad spot, but you're not necessarily back to being like who you built to be an identity throughout the season. So we definitely had success, a lot of success. I feel like it was more out there for us because, you know, especially with that last game and how it ended. We had a lot more football to play, but, you know, back to the drawing board, I guess.
It's crazy to me to listen to teams like you guys, lost 3 games in the regular season? Right? They play at such a high level. You guys are playing at such a high level. And you hear talking about him going through adversities. We're trying to find get ways to win. They only lost 3 games in the regular season where we were like in the middle of the pack, right? We're barely winning games out here. We're trying to find – the only way we're winning is by barely winning. We're trying to find a way to win. You know, that was just our identity. We had a bunch of adversities, injuries, all this stuff that were holding us back. And so it's just crazy to hear the mindset because regardless if you're on the top, if you're in the middle, or you're the bottom, it's the same thing. We're all going through adversities trying to find a way to be consistent and win, man.
It's so tough. The AFC is tough.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the AFC is the more tougher division. You know what I'm saying? We got some of the best teams. I'm not saying the NFC doesn't have teams, but you playing a lot of talent consistently in that AFC, and I feel like you lose 3 games, people don't want you to lose at all. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the middle, it's kind of like not a bad spot to be in, but it's like, all right, we expect them. They're gonna have a couple of good games, and you know what I'm saying? It just, I guess when you leading from the front, it's just like, all right, you're supposed to win. We expect you to win. I feel like we were the dark horse, and everybody really was betting on us to really go like, all right, this is the year. You know what I'm saying? That would have been a perfect fairy tale story, but, you know, this is the real world. You know, it's a lot of other teams competing at a high level, giving it everything they got.
Y'all had some wild games, man.
Yeah,
You guys helped the ratings for sure this year. I'll say that.
Well, you had a good script.
Yeah, for sure. I was following the script. That's all. You just followed the script.
Right, we all are, right.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to you guys for that. I could never do those lines. You know, I could never just hit the script like that. I'm more of an improver. So
Me too.
I guess that's why I didn't make it as an NFL player.
I get it.
You know, that's probably what it was.
Coachable.
And yeah, AFC, man, there's so many good quarterbacks, right? Like, I mean, and that's the crazy thing. We talk about Super Bowl or bust. Like, with guys like Mahomes, Allen, you know, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, like, so one of these guys is like not going to win like 2 Super Bowls. Like, it's really hard to win 2, you know, and that's just crazy to think that we're going to get to a point looking back on these guys' careers, and they're all so young still at this point. All these guys
100%.
are, and you guys are still young. I'm the old ass man here on the stage. It's just crazy to think, like, in career retrospect, like what the amount of strength right now in the quarterback position in that conference.
We'll have like in the next 10 years of good quarterback play, barring no injuries from those guys. It's just like you see them play at a high level, and it's like, damn, like, have we seen football played at this high of a level since football has started, or other quarterbacks? I've seen some great quarterbacks. I'm not going to say I haven't, but this many at one time and so young, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's like the new wave, right?
Yes.
Like you went through like Manning, Breeze,
Brady.
Both
right?
Mannings.
Yeah, both Manning.
Yeah.
And all these, and I feel like now we're in this new wave of quarterbacks, the older version, right? Because these quarterbacks, man, they play for so long, right? So you get established.
It seems like it seems like we got used to Big Ben until we didn't see Big Ben no more.
Right.
I'm like,
Exactly.
damn, like,
Exactly.
I thought he was gonna play forever.
Yeah, I know. Well, felt like he did play. He played for a damn long time. That's for sure. For a long time. Hey, we're gonna get you out of here. One last question here. We got to ask you about DeMar and seeing him make this. I'm not gonna say full recovery or anything like that because we still got a long way to go. But man, seeing him on the stage this weekend, how big of a moment has that been?
Like a moment of rejoice, a moment of triumph. It's just like all the prayers were answered. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the world, everybody who put the good energy in the world, it came back to us. You know what I'm saying? It kind of gave you hope again. That, you know what I'm saying? If you pray hard and long, you ask God, He'll make some things happen. You know what I'm saying? He'll make them happen at His pace, of course. So we're just thankful for it. Thankful to see him. Thankful to see him just alive and well, like just normal again. And it's just like, all right, a moment of everybody can have a sigh of relief. Like,
absolutely.
Feels great, man. Hey, appreciate your time, Stefon. Thanks so much.
Appreciate y'all for having me.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
Thanks, bro. Nice seeing you.
Excited now to be joined by Bears quarterback Justin Fields. Justin, what's going on, man?
Not much. How y'all doing? Doing all right?
Doing good. No complaints. You've been busy. A lot of interviews.
Yeah, I mean, day 2 today, so this is number 2 for me today, and then, I'll probably have a few afterwards, so yeah.
Austin and I are curious, what is the one question that you've been asked that you're sick of being asked?
Of course we have the number 1 pick next year, so asking me what I would do with the pick, if I were the GM, but, I just keep saying that it's not my job. My job is to play football, so, that's probably the one question.
I feel that. I feel like I have like 10 questions that I don't want to be asked anymore, but, it's the top questions. We can save that for another time. But
we'll save that one. Hey, you're here on behalf of Marriott Bonvoy. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on there.
Yeah, so, Marriott Bonvoy, I got a chance last week to get together with a couple and kind of style them with 3 outfits, for this week and this weekend. One of the outfits was their airport outfit, getting here, and the second one was for the NFL honors last night, and the third one was for the Super Bowl, and there's a courtyard, house party. So, it was cool, getting together with them and, being able to, share that moment with them. And, Marriott Bonvoy, they've been, allowing access to members to, NFL events since 2016. So, really just, kind of started getting involved with that last year. So, it's been awesome just to getting to know everybody. And, if you're a Marriott Bonvoy member, you can, sign up or, try to get into an event. I think the website's moments.marriottbonvoy.com. I think that's the website. But, yeah, if you guys are a Marriott Bonvoy number,
heck yeah,
try to get in those events for sure.
Shout out to Marriott.
Yes, sir.
A little style tips. That'd be nice. I could probably use the help.
I like the simple. You got the button-down jeans,
something
brown
going on.
boots.
I feel like this is your style.
Yeah,
this is about as good as it gets, man.
There you go.
My girlfriend luckily is my stylist, so because I
like that
got
fit
a
right
thing.
there.
I appreciate it,
It's a
man.
nice
I
fit,
appreciate it. Yeah, shout out. Yeah, that's the Adidas shout out too. So
I 100% texted my wife this morning and said, which hat with this shirt? Like, I have like 5 or 6 with me, so we could all use a little help. So shout out to you for helping the folks out there. Justin, I feel like right around maybe, was it after week 6, week 7, that TNF game against the Washington Commanders, it felt like from that point on, you kind of became more a focal part of the Bears' rushing game. Was that like a collaborative approach with you and offensive coordinator Luke Getsy, or how did that kind of come about?
Yeah, I think so. And, of course, last year was, his first year being an offensive coordinator, so not many people think this or, think of this perspective, but, he has to learn what we did well as an offense, what our offensive line did well, what our running backs did well, and what our receivers did well. So, you have to go through preseason training camp and, kind of just get a feel out in the game on how that is. And, of course, after, that Thursday night football game, like you said, we kind of got in a row, scoring 30 points a game and stuff like that. So, it was awesome to see that. So, hopefully next year we just hope to, start fast like that and be able to maintain it throughout the whole year.
It's one of the most annoying things, I think, when I'm on the sideline and we're playing a team and they have a mobile quarterback like Justin, and everyone's locked down, and then all of a sudden you guys take off.
Especially
I'm just
on
like,
third down.
I'm like, God, like, can we? And there's only one 1,000-yard rusher on set today.
Spoiler alert, it's not me.
And it's not me either. This man's getting it done. So good stuff, man. Heck
Appreciate
yeah, man.
you, bro.
No doubt. no
Yeah,
doubt.
it's literally just math, right? Like you don't even need to be a football expert to know. Like when a quarterback can run like that, it changes the math for the defense. We got a guy in the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts, who's kind of cut from that same cloth. That man, you can have the right answer for the receivers, you can have the right answer for the running game, and then third down, the quarterback takes off. It's
Legs
a backbreaker.
come alive, man.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, what does he say? Brandon Staley says that in the.
He always says
right?
the legs come alive. The quarterback's legs come alive in the red zone, man.
Yeah.
But his red zone's the entire field, man. He's just running, and not just running, but making dudes miss, athletic, man. So I'm excited to see your career progress, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Justin, we talk a lot of fantasy football here on Ekeler's Edge. Austin's really into the fantasy community, engaging with folks out there. Let me tell you what, when you get a quarterback rushing for 1,000 yards, that's a good thing in fantasy.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot of engagement from folks this year? What was your experience with the fantasy
I
community?
did. Of course, on social media, I got a lot of mentions, got a lot of tags or whatever, comments saying that, I saved their fantasy team. So, I was happy to do that, happy to put up some points for them. And, I think, early in the year I wasn't doing that. But, of course, middle of the season to the end of the season, I was putting up points for all the fantasy owners out there that had me on their team. So, that was awesome to do and, awesome to, see them win their fantasy league.
Yeah, and let me give you this nugget because there's a lot of ups and downs and of how people feel about fantasy. For me, I love fantasy, but not because of I love to play the game and get people I want to win people's games, but because it's the easiest community to tap into that's right in front of us as NFL players.
Yeah.
There's millions of people that play fantasy football and bet on sports, right? And they're betting on us, right? And so it's man, that's low-hanging fruit for us to tap in and be like, hey, appreciate y'all fantasy owners, once a week, and then boom, they just embrace you. They lift you up on this pedestal.
Nah, for sure.
Especially when you can produce like yourself,
Exactly, but
ways.
the only thing is when you don't produce like you're supposed to,
so
and
you got to look.
on you.
For sure.
That's the only thing.
Sure. Look, you got to look through the
Toxicity,
toxicity. There you go.
Yeah, nah.
You got to look through that
Most
because
definitely.
for the most part, there's people trying to support you because they're rooting for you.
Yeah.
Because they're invested in you, literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't get too invested. Just keep it from I keep it from a 10,000 foot view. I appreciate everyone that's appreciating me.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. In the same
It's
way.
probably 80% good, 20% bad.
Depends on the week.
Depends on the week. Yeah,
Depends on the week. Depends on the week. So
it's definitely perspective. Well, Justin, there's been, again, I mentioned Jalen Hurts, a guy on a rookie contract, ends up taking over for Carson Wentz, and this Eagles team is kind of built around him. They've stacked the deck to make his life easier. First-round receiver in Devontae Smith. They'll go out and trade for A.J. Brown. I know we're not going to ask you about what would you do with the number one pick, Justin, or anything like that, but the Bears do have a wealth of resources. How do you think this offense as a whole can kind of take the next step after the identity that you built last year?
Yeah, I think, just keep improving. Of course, there's going to be, new guys on the team this year. So whoever does come on the team this year, just being able to come in training camp and, learn the offense. And, there are some guys that we got last year throughout the season in the midst of the season to where, our offense is very complicated. So, although they were, running the plays, they weren't really tapped in on the details like that because this offense is you got to be so locked in onto the details. So it's going to be good, for them to just, be able to learn this offseason and, be able to really kind of get the hang down of, all the intricacies and all the details in our offense. So it's going to be awesome to see next year.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think is overlooked, right, from a fan's perspective.
Yeah.
Where it's a fan's easy. Why aren't they have all these players? Why are they not playing at this high level? It's not, you don't just go out there and play. That's not how it works, right? We have to have this chemistry. We got to be on the same page, the timing. All of this stuff has to be down, right? You have all these adversities throughout injuries, through, maybe you're having a good game, bad game, things like that. And so, the stuff you're talking about, the offseason is huge for that, right? To build the chemistry, to get into, you guys have the same offensive coordinator coming back?
Yeah, we do.
So, get into the playbook. Now you guys can get a second year, another year of being around the same type of language, right?
Yeah.
And it just helps you solidify yourself as an offense so you all be on the same page.
Yeah, and then last year, once you probably noticed when guys don't really know the intricacies and details of the offense, they can't play confident. So they're not playing 100% at full speed, and that messes up the timing of the quarterback's feed and stuff like that. So it's going to be awesome to see next year coming in with guys knowing the offense already that they can play at 100%. And fully confident.
Yeah,
in what they're doing. So
language is a good way of putting it, and I think that's a good way for fans to understand. A guy like Chase Claypool gets traded to you guys in the middle of the season. I don't know the terminology of either offense, but I can tell you, watching them on film, watching you guys on film, the route concepts are different, the route combinations are different. So it's like having to learn a whole new language in the middle of the year. I think that's a good way for people to understand it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Justin, really appreciate your time today, man. This was awesome. We're rooting for you in year 2 and maybe another 1,000-yard season.
Here, I mean, I hope I don't have to run that much, but
yeah, that would be nice, right? That would be nice, yeah.
Sure. You get it done either way, man. That's what matters.
Yeah,
heck yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Your time, man.
Yep.
All right, hype now to be joined by Browns stud pass rusher Myles Garrett. Myles, what's going on, man?
Yeah, just taking it all in. I'm just trying to have a good time. How are y'all?
Doing well, man. I feel like that's what radio is about. Relax, have some conversations, support some brands, right? Meet some new people. That's a good time. How's your journey been so far? Is your first day in? What's going on?
First day in. Just traveling, trying to take a trip around Phoenix and see all the sights. I know I got some work and some business and pleasure along the way, but it's my second time in Phoenix. I didn't really get to get out, so I was trying to get around, see some sights.
Pretty walkable city. I found
really
it's
is.
my first time spending a lot of time in Phoenix. I've usually only drove through in the summer. Don't recommend doing that. This is a good time of year to be here.
I'm a Dallas boy, so I enjoy the heat, but I think if I can take a scooter, I'm gonna take a scooter. I don't get the chance pretty often.
Nice.
I'm not trying to walk, so we'll see what I can get into.
We like to ask people here, what's the question that you've been getting? And I guess you've only been here today, but maybe just in general, what's the question that you've been getting that you're sick of being asked?
How's your toe?
Yeah. So I've learned doing the show with this guy, don't be just poking and prodding on the injuries all the time.
There's strategic ways to ask things. If your toe or you have some injury coming back, when do you think you're gonna feel best? How's your progress been? Don't be hey, just what's going on? Give direct to. I feel like you have to sugarcoat a little bit, So I've been teaching Matt how to ask questions all year.
It's good to know. So I'm not one of these media goofballs just making a fool of myself out there.
Exactly. He got to teach you the
the ins and outs of how to talk to the athletes.
How to act.
Yeah.
Definitely don't know how to do that. All right, you're here on behalf of Gatorade Fast Twitch. I got one of these bad boys here. I see caffeine and electrolytes.
Yeah.
Austin is he's a good clean guy. I like to maybe have some fun. This might be good for me.
I think it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
He's a good clean guy. He can have. I consider myself a good clean guy. But if you like energy drinks and like Monster stuff like that, you can also tap over into that world because having electrolytes and having caffeine, it's good. It's wake up in the morning or right before you're going to work out or play in the game. So it's a little bit of both.
I think the reason I don't do it is because I'm already too juiced up. So if I had it, I might be over the top. I might get the eye twitch going and stuff like that. So
I've already seen the eye twitch many times on the other end.
The muscle spasms.
I'm just hey guys, you guys ready to go? The jitters. But no, good stuff, man. Awesome.
No sugar either.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
That's impressive. Here, you can have that.
Yeah, hold on to it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Myles, man, one thing I wanted to ask you about was Jacoby Brissett. Started a lot of games for you guys this year. He's a free agent this year as well. A lot of teams, potentially looking for help at quarterback. What did he bring to you guys? I think he really outkicked expectations this year.
He did. I think he played himself into a starting role, wherever he goes to next, and he looked good for his time. For what he knew of his situation, he knew that he wasn't going to have that starting role, but he still attacked it. Every single day, whether it was practice, whether it was a game. He made the most of those opportunities. He was a great leader and something that offensive side needed a lot of. Coming off of a quarterback switch and a tumultuous year with guys coming in and out. He really brought a kind of authority figure, someone to look up to, someone to respect, and really to go see and get some guidance because you had a lot of guys who are younger coming in. Now we got in the draft, and they really need someone to speak to and help see them through the process.
Right. What I was surprised about is this man is low key elusive and can run. He's a big dude, right?
He stepped out of so many sacks for.
Oh my! I was just talking about Justin Fields just on here. I'm it's so annoying when these quarterbacks get out and run. You're going after him. You're running. I'm it's so annoying when you're on the sideline and the quarterbacks are elusive and they start running or they slip through the tackles. I'm come on, man. I remember just watching him play and just how is this guy getting around? And then he's skirting down the sideline, man.
I'm like Jacoby. After the first game, I was like, you didn't tell us you weren't fast. Right. We just assumed. I was there's no way you got out in the open field and that was your full speed.
Right.
He was I didn't tell you I was fast. But he was but they're not going to take me down. I was like, hey, if you can guarantee me that, we're cool. But, I mean, when I speak to pass rushers, like I spoke to Vaughn, and, I mean, he told me that Jacoby was one of the hardest to take down, like, across the league. And, like, you see it, game after game. He was just, stepping out of sacks, spinning guys off or shrugging guys off. It's like, he has, that power to sit in the pocket and just, deliver throws without being undeterred because he knows he can get out and slip out of stuff like that.
I mean, the quarterback sneak, too. Even when he wasn't starting games, he was, like, being thrown out there in those situations because he's that good at, Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. The Eagles are, like, a dominant quarterback sneak team. But Jacoby, pretty damn good at that, too.
I think Jacoby would have been number one, especially, if he would have finished out the year.
Right.
And I mean, I think we went like 10 and 11 or something like that at a time with QB sneaks.
Wow.
So we missed one, but
yeah.
I mean the guy. I mean once he gets a little push, going, he's finding a way to either fall through a gap or go over someone. I mean, that guy's powerful at the quarterback position.
What do you guys think about this? Now that we're talking about the quarterback sneak thing, because I know this is going to be like a potential rule talking point in the offseason, like when they get all the guys like behind Jalen and they just kind of like push his ass over the fourth or third down line, they get the first down. You guys like cool with that, or do we need to like make a rule to not do that?
No, keep that in. I mean,
I agree with you.
Why'd you take it out? I mean, that's just part of the hustle and continue to drive your legs. It's stuff we're taught from high school and college. If you're on the defensive side of the ball, that's the same thing you're trying to do. You either cut them low or you got to keep on driving them back. The rule that I was seeing that I wouldn't want taken out was you grab them from behind. It's like a desperation tackle. You're trying to keep them from getting the first down, and you kind of drop your body weight. I think it's called a hip drop or something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
But I mean, it's not like we're attempting to land on people's legs,
right.
But it's a violent sport.
Yeah.
So unexpected things happen. So I hope they don't take it out because that's just more stuff for us to avoid, especially rushing the passer. You can only hit guys in like this, 8-inch strike zone. So got to see what they
you got to buy him dinner first before you tackle. What are we doing here?
Yeah, first you got to serenade him. You got to dance around the tackle, and then you got to lay him down. Tuck him in, kiss him goodnight.
Get him a couple blankets. Make sure he's got his head elevated on the pillow. Yeah. No, I wanted to ask you that because I thought that was crazy when I saw a few take artists being like, we need to reimagine the quarterback sneak rules. And I'm glad you did say that as a defensive lineman too.
I mean, he literally just getting behind him and pushing. Not every team's going to do that, but you have plenty of guys who are going to submarine and shoot at guys, knees and ankles. Who could stop that? I mean, there's ways to stop it. It's not like that's a overly violent play or event during the game. I feel like we try to overthink things as far as rulemaking. I don't think players try to overthink things, but as far as people trying to look out for our safety, there are some things that you just can't touch because you're just taking away the essence of the game.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Football's still always going to be football. Myles, last thing for you before we let you go. I was reading the other day about your relationship with your dog, Gohan, right?
Yeah.
That's a nice name, Gohan.
Big bond with the dog. I'm a big dog guy, too. I got two. We rescued one pretty recently, the last couple years ago. What has that relationship been like for you? I
mean, it's been great. I mean, I got him in Missouri, and there was a breeder that hit me up a couple of years before, and I was thinking, man, I finally got this house. I finally got this house, finally got this big old yard. And it was kind of lonely.
Yeah.
And
that's why I got my first one, too. I was like, it's just me here. It'd be nice to have somebody to bounce some ideas off of.
Yeah, I got a 2-story house. I got no one to talk to. And I'm thinking, why not just take this drive to Missouri and pick up a pup? And he was 8 weeks, German Shepherd.
Okay.
Nice.
And he was a full black German Shepherd. And
beautiful dog. I saw the pictures. It was a beautiful dog.
He's got his own Instagram channel?
He does.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a thing nowadays. Like everyone's
Juju started it.
Yeah, put the dog on the gram. They got a whole channel now. They got more followers than me and stuff.
I mean, people love dogs. I don't know what it is. But it's like people love dogs more than we love ourselves.
Yeah.
And so
crazy.
I was like, I got to give the people what they want. It is that loyalty. I mean, he's a loyal pup, and I've taken him pretty much everywhere. Everywhere I can take him, I've tried to. My family loves him, and I mean he's just fun. I mean he always has energy. You know, win, lose, or draw, you can always expect your dog to greet you the same way
right,
exactly,
and love on you.
Exactly.
Well, hey, Myles, we appreciate your time, man. Good luck this offseason. Stay healthy and go crush it this year, man.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, brother.
All right, Austin, that was awesome. I feel like I learned a ton. I feel like we got some great names on the pod.
We had some fun.
Man. That was awesome.
We had some fun all year, though. I feel like it was.
We did.
It was a good show. Like, there's some shows that you get on, you're like, I gotta do this show. You know, this one's like, yo, let's get our script, right? Get our script, see the rundown, and let's bang it out tomorrow. Let's get it done.
Yeah, next year I would like you to provide us the week-by-week script before Ekeler's Edge, so that way we could really, like, you know, remember the first 3 weeks when, like, you weren't scoring touchdowns or whatever?
Yeah.
It really would have been helpful
Yeah.
for you to tell me that was going to happen for the first 3 weeks.
Well, that's what made it exciting. It was like, okay, Austin, this is what happened. You're going to have people lose faith in you. You're not getting any touchdowns week 3. People are going to be like, oh, you're a bust. You suck. And then you're going to come back and score 20.
I drafted this guy at 5th overall for him not to score any touchdowns. Yeah.
Oh, man, but it's been a fun show. I appreciate you coming on. And for our first year, I feel like it was
Dude.
Hard to beat. You know, Liz last year, you this year, like, I feel like neck and neck. You know, so
I would love to just take it to the next level. You know, keep it moving, keep things going, man. It was a great year. I appreciated you. I feel like I learned a lot about football, learned a lot about life, and you know, I think, like, dare I say, like, we're kind of pals now.
I think so, man.
Yeah.
I agree. Look,
all right, cool.
We're having a moment right here.
Oh, wow. Should we hug it out before the show ends?
I think
Come on.
Bring it in. Look at this. Oh,
That's good stuff.
Brother.
All right, man.
And
well,
then for next year, man, we're gonna run it back.
Dude, let's do it.
Let's run it back.
Let's do it,
man. All right.
Ekeler's Edge. That's
Boom.
a wrap
Season
on
2.
the 2022 Season 2 edition of Ekeler's Edge.
Yes. Absolutely. I told him we couldn't stand up because he towered over
yeah,
me,
that's
so,
why I was like, let's
let me get on my tippy toes here. All right.
Anyways, that's going to do it for Season 2 of Ekeler's Edge. Giant running back Austin Ekeler.
Yes.
Little puny writer Matt Harmon. What a show.
What a show, man.
Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody.
That's a wrap.
We are out.
Oh, I'm connected to this thing.
That's for the blooper reel.